Welcome to Life, the Universe, and everything in between. Today we have a very special guest, Steve Romanchak. We're going to do the Romanchak files today. Steve has some interesting stories to tell us about his investigations and how he got started. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So why don't we start off by you telling me how you got into the paranormal, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, even since being a kid, I've always really been interested in the paranormal. I grew up right next to Grove Cemetery in New Brighton. So my dad would take me on cemetery walks and just always kind of fascinated me. And then in high school, I got involved with the Beaver County Ghost Hunters and went some places with them and helped some families that said they had some weird stuff going on at their houses.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I mean, a lot of times you'd get to a house and you wouldn't get much evidence or
Oh yeah,
just
that's with anywhere. I mean, it all depends on the energy and how much they're willing to cooperate with whatever you're trying.
right, right, right. Some of the more memorable stuff that I did with them was like going to Moundsville Penitentiary and some of the investigations we did there. I've got some really cool pictures of like turning around into a room and like an energy source you could see like following us into the room.
Is that the one you sent me? Or?
Yes. And then we actually heard an audible scream
Also,
with our
you
own
sent
ears.
me. Yeah,
Yes.
we'll definitely have
So
to put that
I
stuff
sent
in
you
there.
that.
Yeah.
And you can actually hear an audible scream. And it wasn't just like on EVP that showed up on the tape later. We heard it in real time, live. It was very interesting.
Nope.
Guys, come back.
You're yelling?
Yeah.
No, what's Moundsville? Was the mental institution, or was it
It was a prison.
Prison.
It was a state prison in West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
And
never been there. I always wanted to go there.
It's really, really cool. And around Halloween, they do like a haunted house setup where you get to tour the prison and go through a haunted house. I've never done that. I've only done the private overnights
Yeah.
a handful of times.
That's kind of the best way to do it. Because like even Hillview, they started doing the haunted house during Halloween. And I just kind of feel like it takes away from it because I know how active that place is.
Yes.
So, I mean, it makes it seem kind of hokey.
Yeah. I like to have even like their private nights are cool if you want to just see what a place is like, but private's the best way to go because then you have the most control over what evidence you get. You can dismiss what you know, like what your group can talk about and say, oh no, that was this. Where if you're there on a private night, on a public night, there's so much just unanswered that it's hard to actually come down with your evidence.
Yeah.
Like I don't like present evidence unless I'm pretty sure that I can say this. I don't have any explanation for this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the spider in the video you sent me.
Yeah, the spider in my dad's video. I'm like, well, that looks really cool with the IR, but I'm pretty sure it's a spider.
Yeah, that was cool though.
Yeah, but when I know that my group is the only one there and everyone I'm with is just a few feet away from me, when you hear a scream on the other side of the prison on the next floor and no one else is there, what was that?
So where else have you gone to?
I've been to Prospect Place Mansion in Dredson, Ohio. It's an old Underground Railroad house. That was really cool. We got some really cool EVP, but other than that, like not that night, you could feel something was there, but like we didn't have a lot of personal experiences like hearing things or flashlights turning on and off like they do at Hillview. It was the EVP that was just really cool.
Yeah.
We got, which I also sent you. We got the voice of a little girl calling out to one of my team members.
Oh, yeah. I remember
my team member's name is Paige, and you hear a little girl with like vibration behind her voice and everything, not just a whisper like most EVPs. This was like full vibration, like a little girl was in the room with us, calling for Paige.
So why don't we come back up here?
Later.
And nothing's going to do. And here we'll be out.
That was really cool about Prospect.
How many people do you usually do an investigation with?
A handful. We've done, I think the most I've ever been with at Hillview was like around 10.
Yeah.
But generally it's less than 10.
Cool. You also went to Erie, the lighthouse?
Not Erie, no. I've been to the Pensacola Lighthouse.
Where's that?
It's in Pensacola, Florida, on
Okay.
the naval base. The Naval Air Station, NAS in Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lighthouse there. And this was post-college. What happened was my dad and I were there for a light-up night. So it was a public night. And they had the lighthouse decorated for Christmas. And they were letting you climb the tower. And as we were climbing the steps, if you've ever climbed a lighthouse, you know it's just the spiral iron grate stairs. And it's straight up. And this little boy came flying up behind us without holding on to the railing or anything and told me he was racing us and that he was racing his friends. I'm like, okay, bud, well, let me scoot to the side and, let you hold on to the handrail. He said, no, I'm racing my friends. And he looks down through the stairs under us and sees these kids. And he's like, I'm racing you, and pointed at them. And they looked up at us and that kid, and they were like, who are you, kid? and he was in period dress, like he had knickers on. And he gets to the top, like he definitely won the race. He made it to the top of the lighthouse before us. And when we got to the top, I separated from my dad. Like I went left out of the door and my dad went right, and we met on the circle at the platform at the top of the lighthouse, and the kid wasn't up there.
Ooh, that gives me chills.
And he never came back down past us.
Wow, that's crazy.
Where did he go?
Now, is there any like history you know about that lighthouse?
I don't know about that child. Like any stories with the kid. I asked because in the lightkeeper's house, I asked about the kid to the tour guides that were volunteering that night. And the two tour guides kind of looked at each other and gave each other that look.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? You have to tell me. Like, what? And they said, well, we're not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, really?
I'm like, okay, why?
So elaborate,
Right. And I said, well, I belong to, paranormal groups. Like, I'm not afraid of it. It's not going to scare me. And they said, well, we're not allowed to talk about Joey.
Oh, so they at least have a name for him.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And I asked a couple other volunteers, and they said, yeah, we don't talk about that.
Well, what the heck? I mean, you can't just have something happen and then
Right.
nobody say anything.
Yeah, they said, well, we don't talk about Joey. That's the name.
Did you do any research online or anything?
I tried, and there was nothing ever about a kid. There is a story what they do tell, oddly enough. They don't tell the story about this little boy that might be there or is there, but they say in the one master bedroom of the lightkeeper's house, there's a stain on the floor, and they said that it's a woman died during childbirth in the lightkeeper's house, and the wood floor, as many times as they've like tried to replace it or clean that part of the floor,
Just keeps coming back.
that stain is still there.
Ooh,
And she died during childbirth.
maybe that was Joey.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's the craziest thing I've had happen there. I've gone on a couple night investigations there after, and it just felt creepy because you're on like a quote unquote paranormal, ghost hunt. But other than that, like during the public nights where it was like, we're here for a ghost hunt,
Yeah.
I never experienced anything.
You can always like kind of feel like the energy of a place when you know something's gonna, come out and make itself known or whatever. Like I know when I did Hillview the first time, it was like I think it was like their Paracon or whatever, or
Mhm.
Hillcon or something. And that was the first time I ever did anything like that. And I remember we went down the embalming room, and I talked about it during my Hillview episode. When I saw the flashlight turn on for the first time, you're like, holy crap,
Right.
It's like, okay, this is like legit. And then you're like, well, maybe it's like all staged up. But then I ended up renting out Hillview myself, and everything that happened then, well, not everything, but like a lot of stuff that happened then, I could like repeat, and it would do everything I asked.
Right. When I first went to Hillview after college, I got away from going out with the Beaver County Ghost Hunters, and I got involved with the Newcastle Paranormal Association.
Mhm.
And they're who brought me to Hillview. And I was told, hey, bring your own mini mag light. So you can trust it. Bring your own mini mag light
Yeah.
with the spin top. I'm like, okay, why? And they said, just trust us. Bring your own. I'm like, okay. And they said, okay, set it up to where like when you're spinning the top to turn it on, you just turn it enough where it just turns off. And then go stand it up on its butt facing the ceiling and go put it down that hallway. And when you ask, it'll turn on by itself. I'm like,
No, I never did it standing up.
yep.
I always just did it laying down
Yep. I was always told stand it up on its end
to try
to where
that
it's
sometime.
facing the ceiling. They said, go down and ask yes and no questions or ask for it to turn on and it's going to turn on. And I said, okay. And sure enough, that thing turns on and off and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot that goes on that people don't realize.
Right.
Like, there was a lot of stuff that I actually didn't talk about. Like, say, for instance, we seen like a little boy there, but it's an apparition. We don't really talk about it. We just my brother's like, hey, did you just see that little boy? I was like, no. And then I did mention that a rock was thrown at my friend as we were heading to Joe's room, where that's where that big bang happened with my brother.
Right.
Because that was weird. I was like, was that like set up? Is there like something in there? But like, I don't know. It's such a weird place that I don't think they would.
Hillview,
I've seen way too much weird stuff in there.
right. I know for sure. Like I used to know the person that was the former curator and like kind of the person that organized all the groups. And I know for sure that like, even when she was running it, they did not have a Halloween haunted house
Yeah.
because she said she felt that kind of took away from the seriousness of it all and would lead to people being able to say, okay, well, this was debunked or let's debunk that.
Yeah.
Let's just make it purely about what's actually here and not the Halloween like show of it all.
Yeah. I imagine she got some crazy stories too.
I bet. Yeah, because
Yeah.
she was there alone a lot. So
Yeah, we seen like shadow figures at like the end of the hall. Doors would open and close by themselves. I mean, you'd hear footsteps. I caught EVPs, and even places where I didn't think would be active, I caught stuff.
I've had there were nights at Hillview where I was so excited just to get home to listen to the amazing footage we got, like what I captured, because stuff was even happening in real time, sounds, doors opening and closing, footsteps walking up to us when it was just like one person and I sitting next to each other at the end of the hall on the third floor and hearing footsteps walk up to us, but we were the only ones on the third floor. So excited to get home. And that night I hit play on my recorder and all my files were corrupted.
Oh, that's one you were telling me about.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep. Every single picture that I took that night and every single audio file was corrupted. What causes that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's kind of funny that the golf course is actually on part of the cemetery. I think they call that the haunted hole or whatever. I think it's Sylvan Golf Course. It's like right in the back of Hillview.
Yeah.
That one hole back there is actually on part of the graveyard.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But where else have you been?
So it was right around the time that I moved away from doing things with the Beaver County Ghost Hunters and moved into the Newcastle Paranormal Association that we were put in touch with someone that showed up to one of our meetings for Beaver County Ghost Hunters. And she said, I'd like to learn more about this. I think I got some stuff going on at my house. But before I like have anyone come over, I want to like go on some investigations with you guys and see like what it is, like learn more about this all. And eventually we brought some people to her house. But she said that they would have doors opening and closing and not just like closing shut or hearing the footsteps, like doors would slam shut. And she was about to have her first grandchild. And the baby swing that they had bought would just start rocking on its own in the living room. Like they'd be sitting there watching TV and the swing would just start moving on its own. So she said, I really want someone to come over and even like do some sage in the house or do something to like just let this whatever's in my house know that it's my house now and I don't want it there.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, we'll have someone come over and see what's going on. And before we ever got to go, she started saying to the spirit or whatever entity was in her house, if you don't stop this, we're going to have someone come and tell you have to leave.
Yeah.
And like just talking about that in the house. And she said it kind of got worse for a little bit. Like doors would slam shut again. And she finally was like, all right, that's it. I'm calling Steve. I'm calling Steve to have him bring people over. And she kept telling whatever was in the house, like when little things would happen, she was going to call Steve. And eventually we did have people come over, and I had a recorder going the entire time. And it was kind of like you said, the energy was a little off, but it didn't feel like anything was going to present itself.
Yeah.
Like it just felt trying to understand what her claims were and what may be going on in the house, trying to pick up on some things, get pictures. And we had EMF meters going and nothing really was spiking on that. But when I got home, and this is one of the files I sent you, within the first 2 minutes of being there, you can hear me describing a picture they brought up on their TV of this like weird apparition they think they might have got in their house. And they're like pointing out to me what they see on the picture. And on the file that you can play, you'll hear me say, like, I see this and that on the file. We didn't hear this at the time, but it showed up on the tape. You hear a voice whisper my name.
Oh, that's the one that said Steve?
Yes, it
Oh,
says
okay.
Steve really
Yeah,
pretty
that's wild.
clearly.
Yeah, that sounds
And that-
very clear.
I just see Steve now.
That one, like, I'm so used to getting EVPs that, like, you're wondering, okay, like two different people might say, or three different people might say it said three different things,
Mhm.
and it's not so clear. But when it says your name very crisp and clear,
Oh, yeah,
that shook me for a while. That was
that was unmistakable. Like,
pretty darn cool.
I know with the couple that I caught, I actually had to slow them down because they were just so fast. When I slowed them down, you can actually hear the words being articulated.
Right.
Whereas yours, you didn't need that. It just I actually thought there was another person in the room saying Steve.
Right. No, it was no one saying my name. And that was so crazy to me. And I said to her, I said, it's crazy that we didn't get much, but we did get whatever it was saying my name. And she said, well, that's because I kept threatening the thing, saying if it didn't clean up, I was going to bring Steve over. But shortly after we went and took pictures, like we said as we were walking around the house that she wanted it to be her house, and she really didn't want it there anymore. Shortly after that, she said things just kind of settled down.
That's cool.
So like we never had to do any more other than start telling that presence that it was her house now, and things did calm down, or it never presented itself to them anymore.
Yeah. Now, have you ever had anything follow you home or anything?
Not that I know of. No. I've had some like when I was a little kid, I grew up, like I said, I grew up right next to New Brighton, Grove Cemetery. And I've had some weird stuff happen where like there was really intense knocking on the walls and my door handle would jiggle.
That'd be the worst when you're a kid.
So, well, and my mom worked at the hospital at the medical center, and my dad worked night turn in Armstrong, and my mom wasn't quite home yet from work, and my dad had to leave for work, and he goes, listen, your mom's going to be home any minute. Like, I got to get to work. So it was this like, what made it worse was it was this weird transition of me being actually alone in the house. And I know I wasn't sleeping or dreaming this because I wasn't in bed. I got in bed, my head literally just hit the pillow, and something was pounding on my bedroom door, and the pounding went down the hallway towards my parents' room, stopped. And at that point I like sat up in bed. I'm like, it stopped. And as I said it stopped, it started coming back towards my room.
Yeah.
And when it got back to my door, the door was jiggling on the hinges, the doorknob jiggling, and a giant gust of freezing cold air came through the room, and like out would have been the outside wall of my bedroom. And the motion light that my dad hooked up right outside of my window turned on. And I looked, and there wasn't any deer or any animals out there.
Yeah.
Never figured out what it was. No one else in the house has ever really experienced anything. My mom saw a shadow once right before I was born, and my grandfather said he heard a voice. But other than that, like my dad lived there for 30 some years.
How old's the house?
I'm not sure. It's not super old.
Oh, I just didn't know if like it was like an area where they had like, I don't know, Pennsylvania's so old,
Right.
you know?
No, it's right. It's down by McGuire Home in New Brighton.
Okay.
Is where that house is. I think it was built maybe in the 60s. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I know even just like rehashing. So I've been out of the paranormal stuff for years.
Mhm.
And even just rehashing, like just retelling stories, just weird stuff like started happening. Like I know we've talked about this and I know it freaks my wife out, but I dropped the kids off at church. And I went and picked them up. We come back and my son's like, "Hey, the garage door is going off." I said, "No, it's not." He's like, "I'm telling you." He goes, "I know that sound." He goes, "It's the garage door." I was like, "Whatever." So we go downstairs and sure enough, the garage door would open up 3 inches, close, 3 inches, close, 3 inches, close until I hit the button and it stopped. Now it could just be some random weird signal from wherever, who knows?
Right.
But what's the timing of that? And even so, the garage door's kind of iffy anyways, because there's something wrong with the antenna. You have to be like right up against the door to open it up wirelessly. So that was weird. And then the same night, our bedroom door just randomly just like slammed for no reason. It was like wasn't the cats. I mean, it was just weird, and it wasn't like it was the furnace or anything. Because we have a carpet, so you have to like physically really push the door shut.
Mhm.
And when I was doing the Mary Black, now the Mary Black story was obviously just a made up tale that I did at the beginning, but I actually heard 3 knocks on my window that night. I was like, 'cause I said to Lisa, I said, "Did you hear that?" She's like, "No." So it had to be like all in my head, but it's just like weird stuff like that that's happened, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's really interesting. And especially like you said, maybe it was just all in your head because you did the Mary Black story, and then you heard the knocking. Who knows?
I know. Maybe she was coming for me.
Um, One of the other places I've been to Salem, Massachusetts
I bet that's
twice.
interesting.
Yeah, Salem's a really cool town. And the big thing with Salem now is they say, well, they weren't witches. It
No.
was all a tale
Oh,
from
pilgrims,
the
yeah.
teenage girls, um and there was like a lot of things where you got benefits, and there were certain rewards if you reported somebody and they were found guilty, like
Yeah.
you got their land. And it caused a spiral of accusations and this whole thing. But it's a really cool town
Yeah.
to check out. Um, got a really weird apparition outside of Bridget Bishop's house. One of the accused of one of the women that were accused of witchcraft, and it looked like, you can see in the picture, there's this weird like green smear
Mhm.
up in the air, and then just to the left of that, and this is one of the pictures I sent you.
Oh, yeah, that was that
Um,
weird one with the lighting.
right, with the weird light. It's like
Yeah.
a green smear, like of ecto in the air, and then it looks like a guy in a top hat. You see a hat and like a weird face and almost like the beginning of the shoulders and chest, and then there's nothing there.
Yeah, that was pretty
Um, but that was in Salem, Massachusetts. Never got any good EVPs or anything like that anywhere we went. And I just walked around town. It's not like I went on any official investigations or anything like that. It's definitely a cool spot to check out.
well, my sister-in-law just went there. She loved it there. Said it was beautiful.
Right. It's an awesome little town. It's beautiful. Check out Boston while you're there. There's a lot of history in
Oh,
Boston.
yeah. Boston
Uh,
Tea Party.
right. Right. Yep. Yeah. Boston's cool because they have a red brick line that's down the sidewalks. And as long as you stay on that line, you'll walk past a bunch of cemeteries and historic sites like the Old North Church.
Mhm.
And like I said, graveyards where like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams and a bunch of our forefathers and historical figures are all buried
Oh, that's pretty neat.
in Boston.
Have you ever seen anything, like, weird that you have, like, no idea what in the world it was?
I mean, weird as in like creatures, no.
Yeah.
But weird as in I just can't explain it. Like I already told you the story of the kid at the lighthouse. There's no explaining. Like he literally spoke to us. We could see him clear as day. It was like a living person. But when we got to the top of the lighthouse, he wasn't there. Now, a house I lived in downtown when I was in high school, my mom and I moved from the house on Oak Hill by McGuire Home downtown New Brighton. And that house always felt like something was off
Oh, really?
in that house. Doors would open and close. You could, I mean, well before smart devices, you could like say, okay, turn the light off. And the room light would turn off. Like,
Oh, geez.
I don't feel like getting out of bed. Turn the light off. And the light would turn
Yeah,
off.
there you go.
It was really weird. And one night we had the Pittsburgh potty and the Pittsburgh shower in the basement. And I went downstairs to take a shower, and my mom was real into crafting, and she was like painting mason jars at the time.
hmm
So we had this like giant workshop table in the basement full of mason jars. And two of the mason jars flew off the table and broke at my feet
Oh, wow. That's
on
crazy.
on the floor in the basement. And I mean, it's what made mason jars fly off the table and break at my feet. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's and I've had like sinks turn all the way on, like in the upstairs shower. It was the style of faucet where you had to spin the handles.
Yeah.
And not only like maybe, okay, some people might say, oh, well, that was just air pressure
Yeah.
in the lines and turn them on. These handles, both the hot and cold, were spun all the way, like turned all the way on. What made that happen? I don't know.
No, was that an older house?
All right. So I think looking it up, I think online it said that my mom's house in downtown New Brighton was built in 1908. So there's definitely some history there.
Yeah.
Exactly what's there, I don't know.
Now, what street was that on? Is that like the back street if you're coming down by the school, or
No. So
I don't know how close
that
it was
house
to the.
is at the bottom of 12th Street, like right where there's a big parking lot there. They just opened, it was a Family Dollar forever. Now I think it's a dollar. They just opened a Dollar Tree there,
Okay.
but it's right at that corner.
Oh, okay. I know where you're at.
Right. One of those houses right there that faces that parking lot
Yeah.
was where that house is. I've had, I just said the mason jar story where the mason jars flew and broke at my feet. I started walking around with a digital camera and taking pictures and saying, I'm going to see what I can find, see what's here, maybe what threw those jars at me.
Yeah.
And I got a really weird picture. I'll obviously share this with you as well, but it looks like an image of something sitting at the edge of my mom's bed. What that is, and you can try to look at it yourself too. Like, it doesn't look like there's glare off of anything. It's just something sitting on the edge of the bed looking
That's weird.
at me walking past her room taking pictures. So that was always something. It actually, she said when I first got that picture, she said, well, I don't know if that's supposed to make me feel better or scare me more, because it was shortly after I got that picture that I was moving away to college. She's like, well, now I know that thing's here and I'm alone in the house and you're going up to Erie. And she goes, but at least I know that, I don't know what that thing is, but at least I know that that's what it is that we hear all the time. That's opening, closing doors, turning lights on and off.
Is that you that just made that knock?
Yeah, that's weird. So why do you think they can't move on?
I don't know if it's unfinished business or just if they want to hang out and hang around. I'm not sure. Like I said, that house that we investigated for the lady that kind of joined our group and wanted to learn more about it, after we told it that it was her house and that it was time either to not present itself and like share the space with her or to move on, she said not much ever happened at the house ever again.
No, that's good.
So I don't know if it's that they want to hang out. It's why I kind of get away from calling it ghost hunting
Yeah.
now and more investigating the paranormal. Like I said, that first group I was with, this is like early 2000s. We called it the Beaver County Ghost Hunters, but then later on I was with Newcastle Paranormal Association. Even with Hillview, it's weird in a sense, looking back on it now, as many times as I've been to Hillview, to say like, oh, we're going to so-and-so's room.
Yeah.
Because Hillview closed fairly recently. And
Yeah,
there's
2002, I believe.
in the early 2000s. So there's still family members in the area
Yeah,
that
definitely.
like have very much close ties to that. And I don't know how they would feel about, it being on TV that, oh, their aunt or their mom or grandma
Yeah.
apparently is stuck at Hillview.
Like Mary
haunting,
and Joe.
right,
And
all these
those,
names that
yeah.
are prominent names from all the TV shows, how they feel about their family members still haunting the halls of Hillview.
I think they just may have given them names, try to give the rooms a face. It might not even necessarily be those people.
Be those names.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a while, you could walk past certain rooms and still see names
Oh, for real?
on the walls, like on the nameplate for like whose room that was.
Yeah, it's
You
weird that
see a first initial and a last name.
it's weird how much stuff is still in there. Like I even mentioned it in an earlier episode about just all the stuff that was like left over and uncollected from all the patients that nobody wanted or nobody cared to get.
Right.
Like whether it's suitcases or televisions or radio. I mean, there's just so much like
Mhm.
stuff that people could become attached to after you pass.
Yeah. Now, one of the guys I did go to Hillview with before, he reached out to our group and asked if he could come with us the next time we do a private investigation. And he said, I think it was his grandmother or a great aunt or somebody, an older woman in his life, was a patient at Hillview and she passed at Hillview. And he went to the room that he knew she was in. And when we were in the basement, next to the boiler room in the basement, there was a room with just stacked suitcases.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And
Yeah.
chairs. And there was a stack of papers, and he walked up to the papers and he kind of said out loud, like, if any of these are yours, and said her name, help me find one. And like he flipped over like 2 sheets, and on the front, like the third sheet he turned over was a sheet with her name on it.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah, there's a
so
lot of history in that place.
yeah, but like you come across people in the area that still have family there. So I'm not saying Hillview shouldn't be a thing and they shouldn't put it on TV, but just use caution with some places, I guess,
Yeah.
because there could still be some pretty close family ties to those places.
Now, this is something I've been thinking about, and I don't know how you feel about it, but like, really, should we be benefiting off of stuff like this? I mean, I know a business is a business, and I get it, and I'm not dissing anybody, and I'm not saying I disagree. I'm just, speculatively asking, do you think it's something that we should profit off of?
I that's I go on that. That's kind of just going off of what I was just saying. Like it's weird in a sense because it closed so recently, places like Hillview. But Hillview Manor is one of the most active places I've ever been.
Oh, I know, me too.
It's so
Actually,
interesting.
it's the only place I've ever been.
I love learning. I mean, the more you learn about the building and the history of it being not only just the recent old folks' home that it was, but how it was the Lawrence County Poor Farm.
Yeah.
And there's so much history with that building. It is very interesting and it is very active.
I see they're still trying to rebuild the roof. I mean, they were trying to rebuild
Are
the
they
roof.
doing work to the roof?
I knew they were doing a GoFundMe, and I know when I did it in 2015, they were still raising money for it. So I don't know how much it costs to
Mhm.
raise for a roof, but
But
yeah.
I don't see a problem with if people want to buy the building and run it as how they've been running it, even doing the haunted house. I like that they do the haunted house outside though.
Oh,
Like
do
the
they?
from what I know, I've never been to the Scare Manor, but I've kind of reached out and said like, okay, is it in the building or because I do want to go check it out. I've just not had the time.
So that makes me feel a little bit better
Um,
because I've obviously never been to the Scare Manor either. So I always thought I was like, well, it kind of takes away from the place. But if it's outside, I think it's a little bit different.
Right. I mean, at least in its current form, as far as I know, how they have run Scare Manor is the haunted house is set up outside, and if then you can pay extra to like take a tour of the actual building, which is cool. But I like that how Rochelle used to say, like, if we do the haunted house in the building, it takes away from what's actually in this building and
Yeah.
the presence.
And I
that's
remember
here.
the first time they
And I completely agree.
the
with
first
that.
year they brought it up, I was like, and because then you're like really thinking about is this like really real?
Right.
But, I mean, obviously, we've been there. We know it's real.
Yeah.
We
If you
can't
spend any
say.
time at Hillview, you'll very much become a believer
Yeah.
pretty quickly. It turns skeptics into believers. But I do like that they keep it separate. Where Moundsville Penitentiary, Eastern State Penitentiary, they do their haunted houses in the actual building for Halloween in separate parts of the building. But it's funny when we did tours of Moundsville, and they say, okay, you guys have free reign of the building tonight. You booked a private tour. You get to a certain section, you could actually like walk through the haunted house,
Oh, really?
like the Halloween portion of the haunted house. But
What's the most active place in there?
in Moundsville,
Yeah.
the psych ward is pretty interesting.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Psych ward,
Is that where you caught the shadow figure in the doorway?
going into the psych ward
Yeah.
is where I got the picture of the well, not the shadow figure. The shadow figure at the doorway is at one of the main hallways near the cafeteria, where if you watched when Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters was there, they said they put up an image on the TV and they said, "This is the shadow man we caught."
I don't know,
And
new taps.
right, on taps. Right. It was in that same doorway same area where I caught the picture of a shadow person. The image with the streak of energy following us into the room, that was near the psych ward.
Yeah. My only complaint with shows like Ghost Hunters, and not necessarily any of the new ones, because they all kind of like just stick around until they find something. Like Ghost Hunter seems like, I don't know how long it took them to record an episode, but like they were like there for like 5 seconds, like, yeah, this place ain't haunted.
Right.
Which, it couldn't have been, or maybe whatever just didn't show itself that day.
Right. I appreciate that though, in a sense. We're in those early seasons of Ghost Hunters. They said we didn't. They would straight up say, they changed it from saying place is not haunted to, well, we didn't find anything this time,
Yeah.
but we'd love to come back
Yeah.
and like keep that open door, because sometimes energy doesn't present itself.
Yeah.
I've been to Hillview, as active as Hillview is, and it just been like this calm night.
One place I'd love to go to is out in California. There's this battleship,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically like a beacon for the paranormal.
Right. Queen Mary?
No, not the Queen Mary. I just saw it on Expedition X. I can't remember what the name is, but it's like this huge battleship. I mean, it's like ginormous. But they were going to scrap it, and they basically just towed it in and used it as like a museum piece.
Really?
There's like
Cool.
so much stuff that goes on. Like you see like stuff move or knocks, or like they even used one of those Kinect camera things. And
Mhm.
there was like this big long black thing. I mean, it was like this weird stuff goes on there. That's one place I'd like to go.
Yeah. We should try to get down to Moundsville.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to go there. My brother keeps talking about going down there.
Yeah, it's not that far from, we're just from where we're at here, just outside of Pittsburgh. Moundsville's not too far away. It's a pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to do
pretty
that
cool
one
place.
house over in Ohio too that you and I talked about. Was it the Ross house or whatever? I have to
Mhm.
look it up. But there was one place I wanted to go.
No, I've been a lot of places.
I haven't been to too many. I mean, I remember, so there's this graveyard on Peachtree Road, and it was, my mother-in-law always told me it was haunted, and whether it's haunted or not, but I did see weird stuff there.
Hmm.
Because you see like all the sunken graves and everything. And I was there one night with a friend, and like, I don't know if it was the trick of my eye, but she saw it too, so maybe not. But there was like this white figure, like bright white figure, like coming toward us, and they like kind of freaked me out.
You said that's in a graveyard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're a ghost, why would you haunt a graveyard? That's one thing I always wondered. Unless you just want to be with your body.
I don't know, or just visit. I just recently came across a guy's channel on Instagram, and I sent it to you. He sets a video camera of him washing graves, of him washing headstones, and he sets up a spirit box, which, for any listeners that don't know what a spirit box is, it's kind of like an altered radio that quickly scans through all the radio stations so fast that it's not going to stick on one sentence or even a full word on its own. And the spirits can use that frequency to like push together words and make the radio actually say something to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a spirit box is. And he sets up a spirit box with him video recording him cleaning headstones, and he gets full sentences sometimes
Oh, wow.
of it saying his name or thanking him for washing the headstone. Other times you'll see it say like, no, thank you. Like people don't want him doing that to their headstone. or it will say the name of the person on the headstone.
Oh, wow. That's one thing I always wondered, if the paranormal either operates on a scattered frequency, or if there's like one frequency that we just don't know what it is.
Right.
You know, even like,
What's
saying like another, I don't want to say like another dimension, but
just another plane.
yeah, another plane of existence.
It's crazy, like the EVP. It could be, it captures it on your device, but you never heard it in real time, like
Yeah.
with your ears.
So the best is when you do hear it with your ears, and you
Right.
catch it on multiple
And when you get it on
devices.
your device, like the scream that we got at Moundsville was
Yeah.
confirmed by myself and the person that was standing next to me, and then we got it on tape too, which is just so much more cool.
Yeah. That's why we got that. The one EVP I got in the embalming room, I actually caught it on my recorder and my brother's video camera.
Mhm.
It was the one that says, I said, "Why won't you work with me?" or whatever. I think that's what it said.
Yeah.
But I remember it sounded way clearer on his, so I like ripped the audio from
From his file. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And sometimes that happens when you'll get it, and that's even more cool when you get it on, like you said, across multiple devices. Like you kind of got it on your device, but on his device it was like so clear.
Yeah.
I can't try to look it up, the file. I have it somewhere. We were on the second floor of Hillview, and so on the second floor, like if you're looking at the building, standing outside looking at the building, on the right-hand side, there's a lounge on the second floor. So I guess get to the top of the steps on the second floor and turn right and kind of go right down to the hallway dead ends, and then turn right again. And there's a lounge at the end of that hallway. You could be in that lounge. At least this is how it used to. I have not been there in probably 10 years now, but you could be sitting in that room and it smell just like an old building. And then all of a sudden get hit with this wave of like urine, like like stale urine, like somebody
Was peeing
wet
in the corner.
themselves
Yeah.
or like peed on the carpet, or I don't know, but just out of nowhere, smell that.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that I always went to Hillview with referred to that spirit as Stinky. Hey, Stink, like, let's go see Stink. That's Stink's lounge. And I was doing an EVP session in that room before, and I said, like, okay, I don't want to call you Stink. I want to call you by your name. Like, what's your name?
Mhm.
And, just, I didn't hear anything, and we weren't using the spirit box. But then when you play back my tape, you hear a voice say, Warren,
Oh.
and said the name Warren. So we started referring to him as Warren, but I could not find that file for the life of me. I would have definitely sent that one to you.
That's okay. Maybe you'll find it eventually.
Right. Eventually I'll find it on one of my
Stuff has a
old
weird way of
computers.
showing up.
But yeah, so the spirit that you could smell on the second floor, we found out his name was Warren. We stopped referring to him as Stink.
There's another place, I think it's in Pennsylvania. Is it Western Psych Penitentiary? I heard that's like one of the most haunted places in the United States.
Well, Western Psych, isn't that still Western Psych is
West
part of
Penn,
Presby.
maybe?
There's Trans-Allegheny,
Maybe that's what it is.
and then there's Pennhurst.
No, Pennhurst. That's what it was.
Right.
Pennhurst. Yeah. Yeah. Because they just recently had an episode on there, but like I just did an episode on mimics, and like the one guy, they were investigating the place, and like he literally heard the girl call his name while he was in like this barn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, he's like, "Hey, did you call my name?" She's like, "No."
No.
She's like, "I'm nowhere near there."
Right.
And it sounded just like her.
Yeah, that's really crazy too, especially. And that's where going in with people that you know in an environment you can control. Like I said, I prefer to go with smaller private groups, because then you can ask the people you're with, and if you trust those people to be honest about it and not just try to like pull your chain and make you more excited that you actually got something. If it's people you can trust and an environment you can control, when you have experiences like that, it's just I mean, it's so really cool and so gratifying.
That's why we try to like send everybody off in different portions of the building. That way we're not given like contamination and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And like, I don't, like I said, I've only been to Hillview, but it's like so big. I mean, you can do that.
Right.
Multiple floors,
Right. Send people down to the
lots of
basement, send
rooms.
people up to
Yeah.
the third floor, send someone to one north.
Yeah. I
Um,
think the basement is probably one of the most active down there. I never caught anything in the boiler room and on site. I'm not saying nothing's not in there, but like I never felt anything in there. But the embalming room, definitely.
See, I've sat in the embalming room and never felt anything.
Never felt anything, but that's where the
Never saw
flashlights.
anything.
Really?
I never felt anything in there. Even the chapel. Like I've had people say the chapel at Hillview is one of the most active places.
I didn't. The only thing I caught in the
And-
chapel was that EVP. The one that was saying, "Are you
Right.
scared of me?"
Right. I never caught anything in the chapel. A lot of the energies, a lot of the stuff we've got there was one north. The second floor is just crazy active. And I know people that say they love the third floor. The third floor, for some reason, just I'm not afraid of the third floor, but it's just something up there's off. I don't like the third
Is the
floor.
third floor the one where the guy hung himself
I'm not
in the
sure.
shower?
I don't recall hearing that story
I
even.
don't remember if there's like
So I'm not sure.
yeah, I remember
if that's-
Rochelle was telling me about it, or maybe it was Amy because there was another girl, Amy, that used to work here too. But there was like a chair set up in the hallway, and you could just hear ding 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 up and down the hallway.
Okay.
But it might have been the third because I don't remember too much up there other than that.
The third floor is the one where, like, as soon as you get to the top of the steps, there's like a big desk there. It looks more like a modern hospital wing
Yes,
than
that's where
an outdated hospital.
we'll call Joe's room. Yeah, that's
Right.
and that's
Right,
where the
yep.
guy where they leave the
Mhm.
cigarettes and stuff like that.
And the guy that took pictures,
Yeah.
or we're that's
Yeah, so
the
it must have
third
been the
floor.
second floor I'm talking about. There's not a fourth floor, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, there was one wing in the place that was
Second floor has next to the room where they say the little boy is that plays with the toys. There's a giant bathroom. They're like a community size bathroom on the second floor. That might be where you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But
I
I'm not
remember there
sure.
was rooms. Actually, it might have been the second floor. I think it was down from Mary's room. But I remember if you just like sit in the hallway, you don't make any noise, you can just hear like this tinking sound up and down the hallway.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. What it was, I don't know. It's not like the pipes are running or anything, you know?
Right. I don't know. In the boiler room, one time, I mean, we've got just some really weird feelings down there,
Hmm.
but I never got any pictures. I know one of the magnets, that's one of the Steeler magnets that's stuck up on the big boiler.
There's all kind of
I
Steeler
put
stuff down
I
there.
put Steeler stuff down there before.
Yeah.
For the guy that was the caretaker that they said loved Steeler stuff, and I brought like jewelry necklaces for Mary because they said like she loves the gaudy costume.
Yeah, I seen like
Jewelry.
the beads hanging from her bed. And we seen like maybe like a little bit of the beads move, but that was about it. But I think my brother Christopher got an EVP that said, "This is Mary."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah, I'll
cool.
have to see if he has anything still. Do another revisit.
You'll see if you can get Rochelle.
Yeah. I'm sure she's been to some crazy places.
Rochelle, actually, I knew Rochelle before Hillview. She was also involved with Beaver County Ghost Hunters when I was hanging out with those guys. She also, because of Hillview and other things, just being in local, an interest in the paranormal, you kind of run in the same circles as people.
Oh yeah.
So she also knew the group that I hung out with Newcastle. So yeah, she's definitely. But just being the caretaker at Hillview alone for as long as she was,
Yeah.
I'm sure she's got some crazy Hillview stuff.
Anyways, anything else?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I'm always willing to come back and talk more about, the
Oh yeah, I'm sure
paranormal
we'll
and-
have some adventures together.
So, yeah,
So
but anytime. Super happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And like I said, I'm happy to come back.
absolutely. Well, this has been Life, the Universe, and everything in between. Thanks for listening.